Good morning, everyone. This is Abdul Trav from Galaxy Commercial Limited. In our today's video, I'm going to touch on a very serious issue that we are all facing right now within the cashew industry, which is the logistics situation. But before that, I'd like to wish you well and advise you to take care of with the COVID-19 situation. We all have to be very careful. Okay, so coming back to our topic of today, the logistics situation. What is it? For those who are not very familiar with it, I'm just going to summarize it a little bit. First of all, we are all faced by a lack of vessel at the moment. The vessels are very difficult to get. There's a shortage of empty containers. I've experienced it personally. Once you were lucky to get a vessel, it's very difficult, very challenging to get empty containers. And without empty containers, there's not much you can do with your booking. So that's the situation we are facing right now. And on top of that, because there's a shortage of empty containers and vessels, that pushed the demand very high. And because the demand has gone so high, the direct consequence of that is the price, the rise in price with respect to the freight that we usually pay. I mean, today in most countries you will pay 3 or 4 times the freight that you used to pay last year. That's a serious problem. Obviously, it will have an impact on your sale price, your profit margin. So that's quite serious. On top of that, the other problem we are facing right now is a delay with shipment, okay? Especially shipment going toward Asia, like India and Vietnam, which are our two main markets with respect to cashew nut, okay? Because apparently in Singapore, at the port of Singapore, there was a huge congestion, which is getting better. It would take a few months to clear it up. But that congestion in Singapore has caused a huge delay with the shipment, from other parts of the world, which are going through Singapore to another part of the world. Okay, so what are the causes? What caused that situation? Okay, first, as you all seen in the news, there was a Suez Canal blockage. That was the first cause of this problem, and it lasted for a week. And that situation created a jam of hundreds of ships, which took time to clear up. So that was the first cause. The second cause was the outbreak of the COVID-19, okay? And especially in China, Guangdong province. Why Guangdong province? Guangdong province because that particular region, that particular province has one of the busiest international container terminal. It's called Yanshan International Container Terminal. I hope I pronounced it correctly. Yanshan. I'm going to write it down so you can see what I'm trying to say because I'm not too sure about my pronunciation. So those two situations were the main reason, okay, for causing the problem I mentioned earlier. And unfortunately, that situation provoked or created a raft of problem that we are currently experiencing. One of the problem is the congestion I told you about in certain port like Singapore ports. There's a shortage of containers for new consignment. Having said that, who is benefiting from this situation? I've spoke to a number of people, a number of experts, people who are very knowledgeable within this field to understand who's benefiting from this. I'm sure they're not deliberately causing the situation because the outbreak of COVID-19, no one could have predicted it. And the Suez Canal blockage also, I'm sure no one could have predicted it, but somebody's benefiting from it. So let's look at it. According to Sea Intelligence, Sea Intelligence is an industry analyst. According to them, 11 of the biggest deep sea carrier made a combined operating profit of 16.2 billion for the first 3 months of the year. Okay, did you hear that correctly? 16.2 billion in the first 3 months of the year. And that was significantly more than the 13.3 billion they generated across the entire second half of last year. You see, so and they go on to say that these figures are staggering, with all 11 carrier earning more in the first quarter of this year alone than what they did in the same period of the previous 10 years combined. Okay, this is mind-boggling. The money that the 11 biggest carrier have made during this time is amazing. You know, it's not my opinion. It's not what I'm saying. It is the industry analyst called the Sea Intelligence. So if somebody want to dispute that, you better talk to Sea Analyst. It's not from me. I'm just reporting what I've read. Okay, so disclaimer. So in essence, that's what I wanted to say today about the logistics situation. It's a very difficult situation, which is still ongoing, and the sad thing is, it's going to go on for a couple of more months. No one knows when it's going to end. While the processor, the exporter, the trader are suffering, it looks like the big shipping line are benefiting from it, which is not what I'm saying, which is what Sea Intelligence said. And we hope that the situation will improve and get better very soon. Otherwise, it will have some dire consequences for some of the exporters, some of the processors, because the freight rate at the moment is just ridiculous. Compared to last year, in most cases, the price will triple or will multiply by 4, which is too much for a business, for a company to have such a high cost of freight alone. Is very difficult, and also the consumer will suffer because we'll have to pass on the freight costs onto our sale price. So the consumer will pay more, and it's not our fault, and we're not making more money. We're just trying to cover our costs. I hope that something could be done, and the 11 carrier that I've referred to, I've mentioned earlier, could do something to bring the price to a reasonable level. Otherwise, many companies will go down because it's not sustainable in the long run. Okay, so I'll stop here today. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention.